Hello, Leo, and welcome to this, your remaining days in June reading. Now, normally I would be doing two readings each month for all of the zodiac signs, but I am making some changes to my business and my business model. So I will only be bringing you one video a month. Let's dive right in and see where you are at now and what's going on for the Leos out there. Today, we are going to look at where you are at now, what you are focusing on, what you are thinking about, and thus working towards manifesting, some difficult influences and challenges. And that was a challenge for me because it landed on the floor. And what else? Unexpected? Yeah. Was it unexpected that a card landed on the floor? Not really. Happens all the time. All right. So, Leo, where are you at now? The first card that jumped out for you is the Three of Cups. Three of Cups is a card of celebration, and it is also a card of cycles and phases, and taking a look at what we are currently experiencing and recognizing that everything is a stage or a phase. The reason that the Three of Cups involves stages and phases is because the Three of Cups is almost always represented by three females on the card. Females, as we know, have a menstrual cycle, which happens monthly. They go in and out of that stage or that phase. Women also have three stages or phases of their life. We have the maiden, the goddess, and the crone, right? We have the maiden prior to childbearing years. We have the goddess, which is the childbearing years, and we have the crone years, which is postmenopausal women. And so this card reminds us that everything that we experience is a stage or a phase. And so, whatever you are experiencing right now, Leo, keep in mind it's a stage or a phase. How do we decide how long we stay in a stage or a phase? Because after all, when we're experiencing the good times, we want to hold on to that for as long as we can. And when we're experiencing something negative, we want to get the hell out of that emotional soup as quickly as we can. One of the ways that we learn is through the lessons that we're shown at any given time. Why am I bringing that up in relation to a card, the Three of Cups, which is all about celebration? The reason I'm bringing it up is because the next card that you have in your reading, Leo, is the Devil. And the Devil is all about temptation, ego, and our relationship to the material world. These are lessons that you are currently going through right now. So, temptation. Yeah. You want to talk about temptation? I think it speaks for itself. Relationship to the material world. What is your relationship to money, finances, abundance, the material world, the clothes that you're wearing, the jewelry that you're wearing, the car that you're driving, the house that you live in? Are you being superficial, or are you being down to earth and sensible in relation to your finances versus your wants and needs and so on? That is the lesson of this card. Our ego tempts us into coveting, wanting, desiring that which is unattainable in that moment. Now, that's not to say that you can't ever have that big house that you are craving. By all means, you can, when you are going to be living within your means, right? And that is the temptation of the devil, is to push us into that place where we're living outside of our means, or to push us into that place where we are wanting something from the material world out of sheer greed rather than necessity, need, kindness, compassion, empathy, etc. So, Leo, I'm going to go on a limb here and say that that's part of what you are dealing with right now in this moment as we move out of the month of May and into the early parts of the month of June. So, we're going to delve a little deeper into the relationship between the Three of Cups and the Devil here for you, Leo. The Three of Cups, again, is about stages and phases, but the Three of Cups is also about celebration. So, to look at the devil in relation to celebration, it may be that there is some overindulgence that is happening in your life right now, right? Are you over celebrating, overindulging in certain libations or something along those lines? Are you delving too deeply into um, your recreational life, your vacation time, than your work time, right? This is all things that the devil causes us to do is we take our attention off the prize at the end because the devil tempts us into something that's more fun and exciting. So watch for that coming up for you. And the other thing is with cycles and phases, with the devil being involved, is it may be right now that you are in one of the low side phases and you are craving to move up into a high side again, right? You might feel like, um, as many people are feeling right now with higher inflation and so on, as though the bank account is draining more quickly than it can be replenished. That is a phase that we are going through. The devil coming in when we're in the phase of feeling like maybe the bank account is being drained more quickly than it is being replenished is that we then decide to move into a place of I want, I want, I want. When we are in a place of I want, the message that we are sending out into the world is I don't have. And when the world sees or the universe sees, oh, they don't have. And they're reinforcing that by saying I want. So let's give them more of I don't have. And then the bank account drains even more quickly. Okay. So watch for that dynamic happening right now in your life, Leo, right? If you are wanting and craving what someone else has, you are actually putting yourself in a place of lack. That's how the law of attraction and some of these universal laws work. There is nothing wrong with aspiring to living in a bigger house someday or aspiring to drive a certain luxury car versus driving the car that you are currently driving. There is nothing wrong with that. But if it's coming from a place of craving, want, ego, you're throwing the wrong message out there. There's a fine line in there when you're working with the law of attraction. Let's take a look at what you are actually focusing on for the remainder of June. Let's delve a little bit deeper. Had a flash of the back of these cards come in. Let's just move that. There we go. I'm trying to catch it before it lands. I'm sure that looked great on camera. All right, there's one card out for what you are focusing on. I don't want it to land on the floor and have to pick it up. All right, anything else that the Leos are focusing on for the rest of June? What are you? You know what, Leo? You're not the first zodiac sign to have this card come up in what you are focusing on. This is the sun. And in the tarot, there are, in fact, three cards that are considered the happiest cards in the tarot. And number one in that category of happy cards is the sun. You are looking at manifesting vitality, confidence, success, and good times in your life. The sun. All right, so now we know what you are working towards manifesting, which is wonderful. However, this little character is going to try and throw you off your game, throw you off your path. So just be aware of that, be conscious, be cognizant of it, and then you got nothing to worry about. Let's take a look at what's coming up for your difficult influences and challenges. Difficult influences and challenges. 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, putting money away for a rainy day. Is the meaning behind that card. It is saying that, if you do have the capacity and you want to put money away for a rainy day, I'm just going to show you here. There's one card still sticking up. We're going to grab it out as well. So the first card that came out in your difficult influences is the 10 of Pentacles. We are the world. The meaning behind this card is put money away or set aside resources, for a rainy day. And then the world will be your oyster. You will have plenty of opportunities. And in fact, this card is saying that plenty of opportunities are available to you when you have the opportunity to balance a budget, set money aside for the future. The In one of my animal tarot decks, the 10 of Pentacles is represented by the squirrel. And I think that the squirrel is a perfect analogy for the 10 of Pentacles because the squirrel runs around all the time and it's hiding nuts here and hiding nuts there so that when the weather turns cold, it always has enough to eat. And so this is a card of squirrel away a little bit for the future so that when you get to the future, the world will be your oyster. You will have plenty of opportunities. So this card came up in your difficult influences, Leo. And what that's telling me is that right now you're struggling a little bit to put this extra away. Is that a big deal? No, not really. Things are going to turn around for a lot of us very soon. I really have trust and faith and believe in that. And I'm not allowing this guy to rain on my parade. So, if more of us have that belief system, I don't know why this is coming up right now. There is critical mass. We will achieve critical mass that we will overcome this high inflation, this global philosophy or global belief in lack right now. Because you know what? There is more than enough to go around. I'm getting told don't be going into that right now, but just trust that there is enough for you, for your friends, for your family, for the greater good. There is plenty to go around. And when you believe that on a deep level, Leo, you're going to have the capacity to be able to set some aside for the future and manifest this sun that you are working on manifesting. Also getting in your way is the 7 of Wands, the stress card. This card is a card of feeling like you are being challenged at every turn, like people aren't happy with the decisions that you're making. And so they're questioning what you're doing, which is causing you to question what you're doing, which is causing you more stress. This is in your difficult influences. So, one of the things I can say about this card in order to be able to extricate yourself from this particular situation is simplify, 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 simplify. And I know that you're stressed and that you desperately need to simplify in your life because also in your difficult influences, you have the hermit. This is the aloneness card. This is the card of withdraw from society. There are too many outside influences, too many things coming in, and you're listening to too many chatters. You're listening to too much advice. You are listening to this guy tempt you away from your purpose. Okay. There's too much going on up here, and it's time for you to shut it down. If you want to be able to achieve this sun here, Your best path forward is to ignore the ego, ignore the temptations of the material world. That's also a great way to put more money away for a rainy day. Ignore the temptations of the material world. That will balance your budget in a very big hurry. And spend some time alone. Spend some time in quiet contemplation. This doesn't always have to look like sitting in the lotus position with your hands in Gaya Mudra and going Om, right? A long walk along a beach, along a forest path, going for a walk by yourself, sitting on a park bench and just watching the world go by. Going to a park and watching the children play without a care in the world is what came to mind for you to perhaps do at some point this month. The kids don't care about the material world. So long as they have enough food to eat, enough water to drink, and a roof over their head, they don't care about nails and hair and jewelry and, oh my gosh, I need to have the best of the best and clothes, and they don't care. So long as they are with their friends and their confidants and having fun, that's what's important. So go and observe that without judgment, and then bring some of that into your life as well. Now, for those of you who don't know and haven't watched my videos before, the reason I delve so deeply into the tarot and into actually giving some advice during my readings is because I'm not only a psychic and tarot reader, I am also a certified counselor and I am also a certified hypnotherapist. So, if this video is resonating for you and you are interested in delving deeper on an individual basis rather than in the midst of a general reading for all of the Leos, I will leave all of my contact details down below so that you can book a private consultation with me. Diving into or back into your reading, we're going to pull cards for messages from the universe, messages the universe wants you to hear at this time. I am going to have to bend over and get a card off the floor. Yeah, all of the cards went back in. And in reaching for one card, I knocked another card off the table. If you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at, right? Okay. Messages the universe wants you to hear at this time, Leo. We have kindness counts. Kindness counts. Whatever you are going through, remember to imbue your life with kindness. Patience is a virtue, hmm especially when it comes to manifesting for a rainy day, when it comes to manifesting nothing but sunshine, rainbows, sparkles, and unicorns in your life. Yeah, patience is a virtue. Is it possible? Absolutely. Do you have the ability and capacity to be able to manifest a better life for yourself than where you are at right here, right now, today? 1000% you can. But it's going to take time. So, patience. And have an attitude of gratitude. And having an attitude of gratitude is one of the fastest ways to manifest, I have to say. Being grateful at the end of each day for what you have in your life, even if it's not what you want, just be grateful for what you have. That is huge. Let's take a look at what is unexpected. What is coming up that is unexpected for Leo? Unexpected for the remaining part of June. All right. What do we have? The Ten of Cups. And we have the Death card. So I get excited when I see the Ten of Cups. And here's why. Remember at the beginning of this reading, I said that there are three cards in the deck that are considered the happy cards in the deck. The Sun is number one. The Star is number two. And the third happiest card in the entire deck out of 78 cards is the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is a card of saying, I have achieved something that I wanted to achieve, that I had been working towards, manifesting, etc., etc. I want to point out as well that you have 10 here. Did you have another? No, you didn't have another 10. Okay. You have the 10 of Pentacles here, and now you have the 10 of Cups here. So pay attention on the 10th of June. It may be an important date. Pay attention to the number 10 coming up in your life going forward, Leo. All right, 10 of Cups in your unexpected is an indication that something that you have been working towards manifesting is going to actually manifest for you. And you have the Death card. The Death card coming up right next to the Ten of Cups. The Death card is a card of transformation. It is a card of change. It is a card of reinventing something about yourself. And for the most part, when we reinvent something about ourselves, when we let go of an old belief system, when we recreate ourselves, even something as simple as cutting our hair and changing that style, or changing the style of clothes that we're wearing for a period of time, that is actually part of the Death card and the transformation that we experience. Okay. But in order for that to happen, we have to let go of something. So this is a card not only of transformation, but it's a card of letting go of something. And oftentimes, our ego encourages us to hold on to something, some kind of an attachment. Yeah, this guy, the ego, the devil. Um, so what I'm sensing here for you, Leo, is that during the month of June, you're working towards manifesting the Sun, the happiest card in the deck. There's a few things that are coming up that are getting in your way on your way to your manifestation, but ultimately you will be able to achieve your manifestation with this 10 of Cups coming in. But in order for this to happen, this has to happen. Change has to happen. There has to be some kind of transformation. You have to let go of something that you have been attached to, lugging around, that your ego has been saying, oh my gosh, you can't let go of that part of yourself. Let go of part of your identity. I think that that's why I brought up hair cutting, the clothes that we wear, those types of things, because sometimes the clothes that we wear, the way that we wear our makeup, certain jewelry that we might wear, the way we wear our hair, that links us to an ego based identity that we have of ourselves in our minds. And when we can let go of that, change happens. I'm trying to think if there's an example that's coming in. I'm not getting a download. So the only example that I can give of this is something that happened with my brother. So when my brother was in high school, he he didn't have really long hair, but he did allow his hair get a little bit longish. And when he went to go get a job as a professional, working an office type, business type job, he was turned down and he was getting more and more frustrated. And somebody said to him, "Cut your hair." "I'm not cutting my hair. I don't need to cut my hair." He was very much attached to his hair. And it was a couple years later, he cut all of his hair off into a very nice cut for a young man. And he switched from doing more manual labor type jobs into the office type professional job that he had craved. He had to let go of his attachment to his long hair to be able to move into the job that he was working towards manifesting. Now, that's not an amazing, perfect example of what I'm talking about for you, Leo, but it does kind of give you um, a starting point or a leaping off point with regards to the Death card and manifesting your 10 of Cups. Let's pull cards for your final general overall outcome. Where are we going for that? We're going back over here to the tarot. Nope. We're going to the Osho Zen. Final overall outcome for Leo. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I should not be laughing. I laughed. All right. In your final general overall outcome, you have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is the card of deceit and deception. It's the card of somebody wearing a mask. It is the snake oil salesman card. This card is indicating that someone in your midst is not being as open and honest with you as they could be. So you might want to suss that out. But here's the thing. Based on your reading, the person that's not being as open and honest with you as they could be is you, Leo. And I know that that's coming out of left field and it is blindsiding you, and you don't want to hear that. But with the devil coming up as one of your first cards, with you having the stress card here, you wanting to manifest for a rainy day, the death card coming in, this is telling me that the person standing in your way of your manifestation of your biggest dreams is you. When you are open, honest, and accountable to yourself, and you're not trying to pretend to be anything else, right? The devil wants us to pretend to be something that we're not. The devil tempts us to want and to covet what other people have. And by wanting and coveting what other people have, what we're actually doing is we are diminishing our own value, right? We went over this once already in your reading. And now having this card, and then this is the card that made me laugh, was the Four of Pentacles. This is the Miser card here. The Four of Pentacles is the card of coveting. In fact, I don't know if I can find it really quickly here. In this particular deck, the the image just explains coveting so well. It's kind of uncanny. Four of Autumn. Four of Autumn is the equivalent to the Four of Pentacles. So thank you for your patience while I pull out this Four of Pentacles for you, Four of Autumn. Because the image on this card explains the coveting that I'm talking about so much better. On this card, we have a member of the nobility. Okay. The member of the nobility is standing over here, and she is looking over at her servant, with longing and desire. The servant is looking at what the member of nobility has with longing and desire. What the two of them don't realize, by coveting and craving what the other person has, is the pitfalls of what the other person has. We sometimes crave and want, because of our egos and our devils, what other people have. We crave and want the big house that our neighbor has across the street, and we crave and want the perfect marriage that they always seem to be depicting to the outside world or projecting to the outside world. But what we don't recognize is perhaps their marriage is absolutely miserable, and perhaps their big gorgeous house is mortgaged to the point that they're going to lose it very soon. So if what we're doing, first of all, by craving and coveting, we lower our own energy, but also if you're craving and coveting what somebody else has, not realizing that what somebody else has is a mountain of death and a miserable marriage, you're bringing that into your life, Leo. So going back to this one, the nobility is craving what the maid or their servant has, without realizing that the maid and the servant is going to go home to a house that is probably very, very chilly and to only one set of clothes. And so after working a long day, they're going to have to wash their clothes and even put their clothes on slightly damp in the cold morning to come back and serve her in the morning. But she doesn't see that. What she sees in this person is the freedom to be able to leave the palace at the end of the night and go out and have a drink with a friend. This one is craving what this one has. They're craving the beauty of the clothes, the expensiveness of the clothes. They're craving having a servant of their own. But what they don't recognize is she has no freedom whatsoever. She cannot come and go as she pleases. She cannot go out for a drink with her friends. She can't leave the palace. She's trapped. And in fact, she may be forced into a marriage with someone that she doesn't love. Do you see the trap? It is a trap to pretend to be someone else. The only way to get out of the trap is to change, is to transform ourselves, and to become our true self. That is the only path forward, Leo. Now, in your outcome, as your very final card, we're going to turn this around back into positivity. When you learn these lessons, when you learn the lesson of do not covet, do not crave what others have, and instead become your true self, you can step into the energy of the Fool. And you're going, I'm not a fool. No, you're not. But the Fool is about new beginnings. It's about the opportunity to recreate ourselves in our true image, in what we want, not based on all this chatter of someone or some big corporation telling us who we should be. This final card is your opportunity to fully embrace what you're looking to focus on, which is creating the sun. Stepping up and stepping into being the Fool. The Fool doesn't care who the TV is telling him to be. He's going to be his own person and go out on his own journey. The Fool doesn't care what society is telling him to be, that he needs to change, that he needs to wear a mask. The Fool is his own person. And as naive as the Fool may be, he also has the freedom to do and be anything. So, with that, I'm going to leave off your reading, Leo. Thank you so much for sticking around all the way until the end. Please like and subscribe.